Cool. Well, we're here today with Sarah Groom, Creative Director of the Gild. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
Or
to my own
So if you could just tell us a little bit about what you do here at the Gild to start us off today, that would be great.
Okay, well, the Gild is a branding consultancy, so we cover everything from strategy through to design. Strategy being brand positioning or innovation insight, so future forecasting, working with brands who want to stay relevant to their consumers or wanting to get to know a new consumer group or anything like that, or even in terms of their internal workings. In innovation, that can be changing the actual way, their mentality and the way that they think, through to obviously releasing the products, which is true innovation, brand new products to the market. And then in terms of design, everything, branding, packaging,
it's a very different
everything. Yeah, I think the one thing that we like to do is to do as much variety as possible. It's what kind of brand design, and it's what, it's full service. So within the Gild is part of exposure, which has obviously got digital and moving image and fashion and PR. So we wouldn't say that we're the specialists of everything. We have our own specialism, and then we can reach out to our network.
Must keep it very exciting working across so much.
Yeah, it does.
And being creative director must be a very, very fun job. So could you tell us a little bit about what that entails and maybe what a typical day is like for you?
I'd say that there isn't a typical day. It's in terms of how I would see a creative director, it's more, and what I do, look at the bigger picture. So look at the actual group, how we can project ourselves, how we can up the game in our output, follow culture, follow trends, follow youth, how we can encourage more insight, more connections, more networking. I'd say a typical day, we do have things like the gallery. It's more sort of, I'd say to me the network is the most important thing, looking at what's current. If we could do exhibitions, if we could do collaborations with our brands, if there's link-ups that we can do with artists and our brands, it's not necessarily what comes in on the table as a brief, it's what we can push around that brief and how we can get different things really. Within the breakdown is, I have design directors and senior designers, so they're kind of the hands-on day-to-day, and they can push the detail, they're the devil in the detail, and then I can sort of stand back and kind of go, okay, this is great, but actually that brief shows that you really should be connecting with a different market, and how can we get into that market, and that sort of thing really. But we do things like we put on music nights as well, so it's linking up with, things like that, or 1.0, or, different digital groups, bringing that into the agency.
So it sounds like there's a lot of co-collaboration and
lots,
crossing over from fields. So.
Yeah, lots and lots. More and more, I think that's happening. The disciplines, the specialist disciplines are great to have, but it's to keep this place exciting and current. We have to link up with culture, and we have to get those collaborations and the networks based. And it's what excites me and what makes me happy. So bring it into the group.
So then for a young person wanting to get into the creative industry, I guess one particular discipline isn't as relevant anymore. So what sort of skills do you see becoming more appropriate or for someone that wants to get in?
I mean, if you're of a creative bent and you've gone to college and you've done design, then obviously that is, you still can't underestimate that. You have to have the skills and you have to have the eye. I think awareness into what's current, the ability to sort of put yourself in somebody else's shoes, because it's all problem solving, it's all what touches people's lives from new technology. It's not just if you're a packaging designer, then you're looking at everything else besides, and know different categories. Just, I think the awareness, keeping eyes open all the time, and it's nice to know what's current with exhibitions, but also globally as well, kind of what's going on in Berlin, or the connection of friends, the Facebook for the design world, really. It's that kind of thing, and the sort of eagerness and being instinctive and flexible. I think more and more college. When I was at college, it was a very defined discipline. So it was graphic design, which covered branding and packaging, and that was it. And you know, the friends that you acquire along at the time were photographers, but now it's kind of everything is all together, and you know, the sort of Mac system wasn't there kind of when I was at college as well, and now it's the output's just phenomenal already coming from universities. So, but it's sort of their ability to, when a brief comes in, to be able to answer it digitally, or I mean, digitally the word shouldn't really exist anymore, but it's that sort of just being open to things rather than closed off and only answering it from one subjective point of view.
Yeah, so open and being hungry, I think, is a key message you have.
Yeah, and that doesn't change kind of as you go through. I mean, for all designers or planners to be that hungry and just question all the time. Is it? I mean, there's a lot that's instinctive and magical, but I think as part of the Gild, there's a wonderful kind of marrying between the strategy and the design. It's not lost in between on projects that go through completion from one side to the other, but that you know, if it makes sense to you, then it's going to make sense to everybody, to the general public. I mean, we're not something that's on a pedestal. It's you know, it has to be kind of understood and for the common man. If we get it, then everybody will get it.
Yeah. And what's your process of coming up with ideas here, or do you have one? Do you No,
I think one thing that we kind of like is on every project is to have different ways of doing stuff, and whether that's from a standpoint of I mean, just you know, the obvious brainstorms, but then going out on certain projects, we've gone out and looked for kind of say for example a project that is looking to release a new product on the market. Look at the external kind of categories, what's kind of like a completely opposite category, and go and kind of interview somebody that's ahead of a different category, and just to sort of, if it sparks similarities or look at different kinds of cultish behaviour. We've sort of gone into Scientology and looked at that, because that's kind of like the true definition of how you can have somebody follow a brand without even knowing what it is. Internally, you know, it's really nice to champion everybody to sort of sit and brainstorm and come up with their own things. There isn't really a process. I think, you know, at certain points when you get everybody together, you can feel the energies kind of lifting, and something that feels quite instinctive and simple is kind of starting to rise to the surface.
And is that sort of a key indicator for you that you're onto a good idea, or would you say there are other elements you look for, or it's just a feeling you get perhaps?
I mean, I suppose you do get feelings, and you can kind of, from experience, you know, the old adage that nothing's original anymore, and you know, how do you originate something? It's kind of when you feel it hasn't been said in that way before, but also because we've got the strategy side of things, we actually can follow it back. The rationale is there, and you can get to different ways. As a designer, you can just work straight into design and look at you know, consumers' portfolios or their lives, and you can come up with the same answer as if you'd gone through lots and lots of strategic work. But ideally you can link it back, and you've got the business case from the client's point of view, and you can see it from everybody's point of view. In a brainstorm, you can kind of see if everyone's getting excited about something. Then it's something pretty special that's happening, because there should always be that element of magic that you just can't define.
Excellent. And what do you look for in a team member, or perhaps when you're hiring?
That can differ. I think that's a really difficult question. I kind of like personally individuals that have something else going on in their life.
Okay.
They have a passion for design and a passion for culture, but they might really like cycling. And there's something that balances out the passion for work. You know, there's sort of, you know, personal life, something that balances out, because we could be here 24/7, and that's not bad, and you take it home with you and it's fine. But I like the extracurricular activities. We do quite a lot here that is we call giving something back, and we have a bursary every year that's, you know, a few £100, and you can do whatever. You kind of learn to surf, something like that. But it's just keep your life going elsewhere.
Work-life balance.
I like gregarious people, I like cheeky people, I like people that will challenge me, because if somebody's quick and sharp with me, it's going to make me step up as well. So not just somebody that takes the direction, but sort of what I love is if I've got something in my head, and on one instance you kind of would quite like it to be transpired, and they, you know, you can be presenting, go, oh yeah, I like that. But if it's something completely different and completely surprising and they can argue the point, I like a good argument, and that's, you're going to go fair enough.
Yeah.
You believe in it, so that I will as well, and I'll defend it and I'll present it and do all that sort of stuff. So it's the old thing of having a spark, but follow it. Yeah. Because it's fine to talk design amongst designers, but when you're with a client or when you're with anybody else, then they're not going to get it, and they don't understand kerning or leading or typeface or what it means. They're not going to get it. So it has to work on lots of levels, and you have to be able to communicate on it.
And are there any quirky sort of hobbies anyone in this office has?
I'd say probably everybody has. We have a couple of people who's in a band. I suppose it's not
quirky, but it's very cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. We do have a girl that likes to build bikes from scratch.
Wow.
And sources things and builds things from scratch. I'd say probably everybody. Quirky is kind of one of those odd words, isn't it?
Yes.
Sort of like, hey, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But we have people that do costume design as well. Got one person that does costume design. Lots of international. We've got quite a few international people, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly today, a good question for our audience might be, do you find that there are any ever misconceptions with young people that wanting to get into the industry or that fresh from university that start? Are there any misconceptions with the reality of what it's like and what their expectations were coming in?
I think people that to be honest, we haven't had somebody start straight from uni. We've had people that have come through various different routes, I suppose, but they have done work experience before, and that kind of usually irons out misconceptions. I think I always feel people coming out of university, as I did, that you've had complete autonomy on your work. You've been able to have a lot of time to really throw yourself into it without any other things coming into play. And obviously in the real world you might be juggling 4 or 5 different jobs at the same time. We are very hands-on, so for sort of the more junior members of the team, they are actually on projects, whereas I know in other places you might not be. You might be shadowing or just helping out in a different way, but it doesn't really help. I don't think you kind of need to be on stuff. But I think the sort of the reality is, not all those D&AD briefs come through every single day. So there is quite a lot of general day-to-day bread and butter type jobs, but you can have beauty in a coupon here, really.
And maybe before we go, is there any final bits of advice you might have for someone wanting to get into the industry? Or
I would say, which you probably hear an awful lot, don't give up. Keep going. If you really don't think a role's for you, don't take it. If you don't think an agency's for you, don't take it, or don't stay there. Keep moving. When you're fresh out, you've got the ability to be able to move, and you should. Okay. Although I know, to get a job offer is a great thing, and a regular income every month and all that sort of stuff. But stick by your guns, because it will pay off eventually. It really, really will pay off. And try it as many different places as you possibly can. I think that would be a good thing. And don't be so London-centric as well. Look further afield. It's not all here.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thanks very much.
Thanks.